Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Who cannot listen to that song and have a soulmate? Unless that song's been ruined by some ex-person or whatever the heck. God, that's a beautiful song. And it was quoted actually in one of the comments by someone that comments frequently, and I can't remember off the top of my head who it was exactly. There's a few of you all out there that I hear from regularly, but that hit home when you commented that, and that particular part of the song is I'm right there with you. So I had to cut a teeny bit of that out because it didn't quite have enough time to get it all in there. But whatever. Faithfully, Journey, love it. Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day as always. This one is going to be quick, and I don't know what I'm calling it yet. I know exactly what it has to do with, but I don't know what I'm calling it. But I did want to say one thing that's kind of interesting how the universe plays out, even for me. A random, totally comment from out of the blue on a much, much older video, like recently happened. And if this person's listening, cool. You're my background friend, background listener, maybe. The way it was phrased, the person's comment, it was like it might as well have been written by my significant other. It was just beautifully done, and it gave me it was neat. It was well done. So it was just again, it's one of the ways that universe can show up. And can it, people have asked a lot of strange questions. Can it show up this way? Can it show up that way? It can even show up in some random person's comment on my YouTube channel, someone in some other part of the planet. I don't know where, who they are, anything about them at all. It can happen that way too. It's very powerful how our answers come to us. And again, our higher selves, I've talked about this in a few other shows, and I'll probably touch upon this a number of times over the coming months because I think it's so important a concept to understand. But our higher self is constantly trying to work out things for us, trying to connect the dots for us, trying to get us to our desired location. Whatever we're imagining, push up to our higher self shoots it out to other people's higher selves if they need to be involved or, whatever. If it's a job, then there's a boss, there's HR, right? Depending on what you're trying to manifest, there's probably people that need to be brought into the play, right? Brought into the reality of this mix. So our higher selves are constantly talking to other people's higher self. I don't want to get totally off topic. That is just how these kinds of things work out. Now, what today's show has to do with is more based off of the feelings you're having, especially about your significant other, but based off of your feelings that you're at, like where your normal everyday, I don't want to say hang-ups because I don't necessarily want to imply everything's negative, but where your thoughts end up are indications of where either A, things maybe need improvement, need some love, self-love maybe, right? Need some attention, maybe need a little healing on your part, maybe just need attention to the fact that, crap, I am doing that. That is me being that way. Or even on the good side, when you're thinking good thoughts, thinking loving thoughts, then these are also moments to like go, oh, okay, that's what I was doing to kind of get me in that happy feeling good place. So those are things that I'd like to do more of. Again, so when you're feeling good, when you're having one of those good feelings, call it like love, compassion, right? When you're thinking of your significant other, and you're able to hold love in your heart without any sort of other feelings, if you're able to hold compassion in your heart, just be able to understand where they're coming from, empathize maybe with their situation and where they're at, and just kind of still keep them in this wonderful light, this wonderful, compassionate, loving light. Are you able to totally be in forgiveness with them? So whatever it was that maybe happened in the past, if it's an ex scenario, or whatever their current scenario is that's keeping you from being able to be together, are you able to be forgiving of that? Do they instantly get the benefit of the doubt with you when it comes to, why didn't they text me right back, as an example, right? Do you immediately give them the benefit of the doubt? These are great indicators, by the way. These are examples of good indicators, just so you know, right? In case that's being lost. Are you encouraging to them? Are you constantly wishing them well, even if that means being without you even longer? Again, love, compassion, forgiveness, encouragement. And are you supporting? Are you more into them about them being in a better place and happy in their life as much as your own? Don't get me wrong. But are you very invested in their happiness, their reality, where they're at, what they're trying to deal with? Even if It's not quite being with you yet. If that's where you're tending to lie, odds are you've done the work. If you're imagining properly and you're able to, for the most part, do that, give them the benefit of the doubt, constantly pretty much in love with them, not really upset, none of that, right? It's all on the more, when you think of them, pretty much just positive stuff comes with you. Yeah, it'd be great if we were together, but I'm happy with where I'm at in my life. I'm happy with what I do during the day to keep myself focused and busy and occupied. I'm happy with where they're going and where they're at and what they're doing. You're in a great place. And you're probably either a lot closer, maybe there's some sort of fixed time or whatever, there's all these variables. But if you're at that place, then you can kind of get out of your own way. And now's a good time if you can just let go and go, I got this. This is happening. And maybe focus on other avenues that also tie you two together, or maybe additional steps further, or what happens, 6 months into your relationship. Let's kind of foresee and imagine from further out, right? Let's try to create some things that are, known for sure. Like maybe the day you're proposed to by this person, or the other way around. Maybe the day you're proposing to this person, or walking down and seeing them standing at the aisle, or vice versa, seeing your bride come down the aisle to be with you for the rest of your life, or whatever significant memory or image is significant to imagine. Now, what sparked this whole show was actually the opposite of that. And I wanted to give good examples because I think it's super important. And initially, when I used to do these shows way back when, I was so anti kind of getting on the negative chain that everything had to have this positive spin. And I still believe it needs to have a positive energy and positive, and it needs to try to uplift. But I would actually avoid talking about negative things because the reality of it is, if I'm putting attention towards it, then I'm adding to it. I'm creating that. I'm keeping it alive. That's why I kind of still don't talk a lot about politics or any sort of negative events that are happening in the world. And believe me, I think there's plenty. And there's stuff I follow. But I don't like putting extra energy on bad things. I like to try to get people to focus on what they would like to experience, because that's what we create. And that's why I had that world meditation. I try to get people to think together, because we can make a difference on this planet if we're all thinking positively in some way, in a better world, rather than, oh my God, I'm scared, we're going to be attacked, like all the fearful things that come up. Now, that being said, that it was kind of, like I said, the point of this particular show. Fear. Are you having fearful thoughts about your significant other? Are you scared about X, Y, or Z? What are you scared of? Find the root of that fear. What is it that you're afraid of? That you won't get to be with them? Then let's look at that fear right up in our face and go, okay, what's the worst thing that happens? You're not with me. What happens if that happens? Let's just play it out. It's not necessarily healthy to do this, so I just use this cautiously. Don't spend a lot of time on this, right? But what is it that I'm just afraid that I'll never get to be with my significant other? All right, if that happens, well, I'll move on with my life. I'll meet somebody else, I'm sure. And okay. Accept the worst case scenario. Accept the fear. Because by doing that, at the very least, and maybe some of you, that's just impossible. That's too hard to accept. Okay, whatever. That's your call. But fear has a very powerful side effect. And if you can face it and look at it and go, all right, here's my backup plan, even though plan B, I talked about a recent show, not good. Again, this is something I've worked on, so take this somewhat with a grain of salt. This is something I do, and it's done me well. And so maybe I gave bad advice in that last video. I'm not sure. I'm still, like I said, on the fence on this whole thing. But for me, my primary plan is here. That's where I'm putting a good chunk of my eggs. And then I've got this small little 10% backup plan that I put a couple eggs in just in case. And by doing that, what it does for me is it removes that fear. It removes that. It's not scary now that I know I have a plan if that occurs. It takes the fear away from it. Emotional pain, so be it. I might have to go through that. I've been through breakups. Some of you, maybe you haven't. Maybe this is your first one you're going through now. I don't know. If it is, yes, they're freaky. They're scary. They hurt. I've been through 3 major ones for sure. And they're brutally painful. And I've learned a great deal from every one of them. And on the other side of that, It has played out even better. And I'm about to basically head into another genre. A new beginning is for that as well. So again, if you're fearing something, there's an adage in the old spiritual community, what you fear, you draw near. When you're fearing something, you're putting energy towards a negative concept, that thing, that 10% I talked about. Well, you're actually painting that reality by fearing it, thinking about it, by being scared of something, regardless of what you want it to be. Universe goes, all right, that's your focus. That's what I'm going to give you. What you're afraid of, you draw near. You make that reality more possible. Again, that's the only reason why I say look at it square on and go, okay, here's my backup plan if that occurs. At least you know in your mind that you have a backup plan. So when your brain pops up with chatter and goes, but I'm scared, you go, whoa, no, we got that covered. We're going to focus on imagining this outcome with this individual, okay? Because ultimately all it's trying to do is you're trying to get the fear to shut up, stop, to get away. It's not helping you at all. In fact, it's hurting you. So if you're having these fearful moments, we need to figure out a way. But that's the cool thing is the fear. It's like a spotlight going, look at me, look, that's helping you. So if you are having fear, that's good if you notice it. Now you can do something about it. If you don't notice it and you're just, always freaked out, that's not good. So again, fear can be good in that regard. Frustration. If you're finding yourself being frustrated, this is taking too long. That's also an indication. Look, what is it that you're frustrated about? Look at it. What is it about you that bothers me so much? All right, now either A, come up with some sort of affirmation for that frustration, whatever's causing it. B, try to look at whatever's causing frustration differently. By changing what you think of something, you actually change your reaction to it, your reality to it, your experience of it is changed forever by you changing your mind about it. I know it sounds crazy, but that's the reality. So if you stop disagreeing with some concept, something it used to bother you, now you're just like, I don't even care anymore. I don't care what other people think. You will find that no one's talking about that anymore when you used to hear it all the time. So again, if you're frustrated, kind of try to look at what it is, maybe do some affirmations to get your brain on straight, or maybe think differently about whatever it is you're frustrated about. If it's an issue of this is taking too long, then be like, you know what? I love this person, and if it's going to take a year, I'm cool giving this a year. I'm going to give this a year before I start getting freaky about stuff, right? Today is, the date that it is. 1 year from today, then I'll allow that frustration to kick back in. Again, something to tell your mind chatter. Mind chatter starts going, but he's not here yet. Wait, whoa. We made a deal. You and I agreed, higher self and lower self. We agreed. We're going to give me a year. Stop. Leave me alone. And it tends to work. Again, it's pointing to your areas that you have control of. What about anger? Was the situation ended in a bad way? Do you still have anger that pops up? He does X. He says something. It just instantly I go down this path where it sounded like this. It sounds like she was about to say. Are we instantly jumping to that anger place? That anger place needs to be healed. That anger place is still keeping you from your significant other. Use it to your advantage. Catch yourself, I just got angry with him again. Why do I keep doing this? There's your answer. There's your fix. Once you see it and look at it and go, all right, so now the question is, do I love this person enough to get past this or not? If your answer's or not, then stop trying so hard to manifest that person. It's time to move on to someone else because you can't necessarily try to just manifest somebody even though they've got all these changes they have to do. Now you're really kind of missing the point. You can, but I don't recommend that path. If you're one of those people where the individual that you're trying to manifest needs to change so much so it'll work for you, you need to find a new person. You're stuck on that person. That's where your growth is. So again, are you angry? You need to look at what's causing the anger. What is it? Is it legitimate or is it meh? Is it he left the cap off the toothpaste and that used to bother me? He'd leave his socks on the floor. I don't know. It's been so long since the cap on the toothpaste was the one that really bothered me. They get all crusty and you couldn't get it out. It was just annoying. It's like, come put the freaking cap back on. That was like the one pet peeve that I'm really aware of that used to bother me. Outside of that, I'm pretty easy going. And even that one, we got flip caps. If I'm literally with someone that has a problem with the toothpaste cap, I'll just, when I go to the store to buy toothpaste, or I will be the one that buys toothpaste, I'll just get the one that's got the cap that just closes real easy, not the one that you actually have to screw back on, right? Now, I'll make it easier for myself. Again, if it's frustrating you, just change. It's easier to do that than it is to make someone else change. Making someone else change, very difficult. Making yourself change and everything you perceive different, easy. Is there jealousy? Are they currently with someone else and that's bothering you immensely? Then you need to look at this. Do you just love the idea of being with this person? Do you love the idea of being with this person now, even though they've had as someone for a while? Is this person possibly going down the path of dating someone else after breaking up with you? Now, again, all possibilities of manifesting are there. It's your beliefs, it's your focus. These things can all happen. It doesn't matter where they're at in the scope of that. All those things can change. So if it's a case of them dating someone else, maybe they're going to get some really cool perspective that's going to benefit you, because after dating this person for a month, they realize, oh my God, I had it so great with so-and-so. Is that worth it to you? I mean, seriously. If your significant other dated someone for 1 month, and in that, and you knew in advance, and in that, they were going to actually realize they loved you even more, would you be like, well, get going on that date, buddy? Make some phone calls, shoot a text message, start that date so I can start getting you back after. Sometimes these things have to happen. Again, there's a zigzag. We're going dot to dot to dot to dot to dot while we're trying to manifest this. The universe is working out the points. We've got our sides of it. They've got their side of it. And we're trying to meet at another location. Give everything a chance. Give it all it can. But if you're feeling jealousy, then you need to look at what is it that I'm jealous about. And then let's face that head on and either change the way we feel about it or let go of this relationship. Now, I put it in such drastic terms because it helps make the other choice. Letting go completely is like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. So, okay, are you willing to get over this silly jealousy? Oh, yeah, I guess that does make more sense. It's up to you. There's no right answer. If you're trying to get someone back, I guess the right answer is forgiveness. Again, are you following the love, compassion, forgiveness, encouragement, support? Are you following these thought processes normally when you think about your significant other? Are you hostile towards them? When they call you on the phone, you love them with all your heart and want them back with every bit of an ounce of your being, but the second you get in front of them, you got so much pent-up anger, you're really like mean. And I get, you're like, but I love them. Well, if you're not behaving that way, that's not what they're experiencing. They're experiencing a very horrible person that's angry at them that they know cares. But why the hell would I want to go through a relationship with that? Why? If I've got self-love in any way, shape, or form, I don't want to be with someone that's constantly mad at me, constantly angry with. No. Seriously. That would not be, if my significant other was angry with me constantly, we would not, I am not that stuck on it having to be her. I'd be like, well, this is not a healthy relationship. Obviously, something's not right with me if I'm seeking an unhealthy relationship. Now, maybe it's not the best circumstances of a relationship, questionable there too, but I think there's reasons for all of us. We all have our reasons. We all are doing what feels right to us. So, that all being said. So pay attention to these emotions, to these feelings, to these markers that are showing yourself. Wherever you're at in this process, pay attention to where you're at with your feelings and thoughts towards your significant other or towards your manifestation of whatever it is. Are you scared? Are you fearful? Are you angry? Then look at why. You have homework. Your homework is to look at why, truly look inward at yourself. What is it that I don't like about that? Say it out loud if you have to. It's not someone else's problem. Trust me, it's 100% your problem if you're feeling emotion towards what someone else is doing. It's your choice to react. It's your choice to put all the different facts inside your heads that support this crazy emotion that we're currently experiencing. Or do you tend to immediately give them the benefit of the doubt? You just tend to love them. Whatever it is, I love her so much. In my case, I love her so much she doesn't even have to be with me. I freaking hope that she does. But if that's not her choice, and I know there's people that believe you can manifest whatever. Neville Goddard, I get it. I don't necessarily believe that. That's my limitation. You don't have to. I get it. I'm okay with where you're at with your belief cycle. With mine personally, I want what's best for her and I and everyone involved. That's how I'm approaching this. What's best for all involved is the outcome I desire. Not what's best for me. Not what's best for just her. What's best for her and all the surrounding parties. Everybody that's involved in this whole situation. That's what matters to me. And if me being with her is not that, which I don't believe it's the case. Believe me, I've asked for this answer numerous times, and I've gotten confirmation that I'm heading down the right path even more than numerous times. So I've answered this question many, many times, but I've asked it many, many times too. Again, I was feeling fear and frustration, and I've gone through all these emotions. And I will honestly say 95% of the time, and I'm not joking, 95% of the time I'm on love, compassion, forgiveness, encouragement, and support. There's a couple times I pop into fear, but I fall back quickly. And even in the fear, I still, ultimately, I care about this woman so much. Pay attention to these markers. It'll help you answer your questions. Only you know your path. You know, you can email any of us, any people that are helpful. But ultimately, we don't know all the details, right? We might ask hopefully we ask a few questions. Or you might leave a comment and, but it's very contextual. There's this small little snippet. So these are the tools for yourself to empower you to make a difference in your manifestation. So you can find your way, find your answers, and find your glory. Because that is coming. And that is on the other side of us answering these questions. Manifestation is a process of our lives, especially when we're talking about relationships. It's very important that we grow through this process, because otherwise you're probably not on the right path. It's Dan RadioStyle. I hope everybody enjoys this. Going out with a song by a lady I'd never, ever, ever heard of. I love doing these. I'm loving researching music because I'm finding some really cool songs that I never would have found any other way. It's Dan RadioStyle. This is Haley Steinfeld doing Love Myself.